want to get to the second reason for the existence of God. As you say, the complex order in the universe points to an intelligent designer. Explain.
Scientists once thought that whatever the initial conditions of the universe might have been, given enough time and a little luck, eventually intelligent life forms like ourselves would evolve. But instead, during the last 50 years or so, scientists have discovered to their surprise that the existence of intelligent life in this universe depends upon a complex and delicate balance of initial conditions given in the Big Bang itself. In fact, it appears that the universe has been incredibly fine-tuned for the existence of intelligent life from the very moment of its inception. And this fine-tuning is beyond comprehension in its delicacy. To give you an idea of the delicacy of the fine-tuning, let me just give a couple of numbers to give you a feel for the odds. The number of seconds in the entire history of the universe, all the way back to the Big Bang, is about 10 to the 18th power. 10 to the 18th power seconds in the entire history of the universe. 10 followed by 18 zeros, a huge number. The number of subatomic particles in the entire known universe is said to be around 10 to the 80th power. Now, with those numbers in mind, consider the following. In order for the universe to be life-permitting, the force of gravity and the weak force in the atom have to be fine-tuned to the precision of 1 part out of 10 to the 100th power. The cosmological constant that governs the accelerating expansion of the universe is fine-tuned to 1 part out of 10 to the 120th power. Here's a real eye-popper. Roger Penrose of Oxford University has estimated that the odds of the initial low entropy state of the early universe obtaining by chance alone is 1 chance out of 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 123, a number which is so incomprehensible that to call it astronomical would be a wild understatement. And the examples of fine-tuning are so diverse and so numerous that they are unlikely to disappear with any future advance of physics. The fine-tuning is here to stay and requires some sort of explanation of its existence. And in the literature on this subject, there are basically 3 possible explanations that are put forward. One would be physical necessity, that it's due to the laws of nature. They have to have the values they do. Second would be it's just pure chance alone. The third one would be it's the product of intelligent design. Someone has designed the universe to be life-permitting. The problem is that those first 2 alternative explanations, physical necessity and chance, are just not very plausible. There's nothing about the laws of nature that require these constants and quantities to have the values they do. And the chances are so remote that they cannot be reasonably faced. So that I think the most rational explanation is intelligent design. And a number of scientists have said this as well. For example, Paul Davies, a prominent physicist, has said, "Through my scientific work, I have come to believe more and more strongly that the physical universe is put together with an ingenuity so astonishing that I cannot accept it merely as a brute fact." And Robert Jastrow, who was the head of NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, has said that this is the most powerful evidence for the existence of God ever to come out of science. So we can summarize this first argument as follows. 1, if the universe began to exist, then the universe has a cause of its beginning. 2, the universe began to exist. 3, therefore, the universe has a cause of its beginning. We can summarize this second argument as follows. 1, the fine-tuning of the universe is due to either physical necessity, chance, or design. 2, it is not due to physical necessity or chance. 3, therefore, it is due to design.
The universe has no creator. The mathematical constants in any mathematical equations or functions are exclusively defining characteristics of diverse entities. An entity has some distinctive attribute which defines, characterizes, and distinguishes the entity from others. This attribute is expressed mathematically as a constant, and no creator is required to fine-tune this mathematical constant. Even a creator, if at all exists, requires some transcendent mathematical constant for its existence. No being would exist without exhibiting some distinctive characteristics. If the only way there could be existence was by God fine-tuning mathematical constants, then there wouldn't have been existence, because the existence of God would require fine-tuning by another preeminent God, who in turn would require a different God for the fine-tuning of his own existence. Frankly, whether supernatural or not, existence is existence. So God's existence requires fine-tuning. Perhaps God's existence has to be fine-tuned to have some sort of paranormal mathematical constant. If there was no other superlative God to fine-tune God's existence, then there was in general no God to fine-tune existence. Suppose God fine-tuned the universe. If God didn't exist, wouldn't there be existence? A sensible answer to this question is no. By common sense, we know that if God didn't create the universe, there will be empty space. And because empty space is unstable, the universe will spontaneously pop into being. Strictly speaking, the notion about fine-tuning is pointing out to transformation, not creation. For instance, if y equals ax, the constant a is ascribable to infinitesimal change in y over infinitesimal change in x, which is written as the y by the x equals a. This fine-tuning tells us that there is a transformation. Therefore, our awareness of fine-tuning is directing our attention to transformation, not to creation. Moreover, all entities, such as plants, animals, humans, and so forth, seem designed because their being is governed by natural laws. When there are laws influencing the existence or occurrence of anything, they will seem orderly and structured. Accordingly, all beings seem orderly and structured due to mathematical laws defined on their existence. However, the fact that the existence of the universe is governed by laws of nature doesn't imply that the universe popped into being by chance. And it doesn't imply that a supernatural being created the natural laws either. These laws are considered natural because they are not created or fine-tuned by any being. The mathematical constants In these natural laws describe the distinctive nature of all beings, and that's why all beings seem designed. In summary, empty space has no derivative or origin and has no end. Hence, it cannot be created. It is unstable and could bring about the being of all universes in a spontaneous manner. In fact, empty space is not in itself a creator and cannot be considered as God. Since empty space is internal, it would on no occasion emerge accidentally, and accordingly, the universe never popped into being by accident. Therefore, the universe is purposeful, but its existence has nothing to do with anything transcendental.